What up, world? Welcome to Infantry Mindset, where we don't make excuses, we just do it. Man, beautiful morning, great state of Texas. Blessed to be alive. I hope everyone's doing well. How you all feeling today? So much stuff is happening. I'm just trying to soak everything in. Getting used to YouTube now. Have no idea what number video I'm on now. For those that don't know, Infantry Mindset. What does it mean, dude? Who are you? Bald guy, average American, civilian now, was an infantryman. Infantry Mindset is just a thought process. Thought process that is simple, but important. Infantry Mindset just means you can do whatever you want. You don't take no's. You push as hard as you can to get the job done. You got your mission. You do whatever it takes to complete that mission in life. I think we all have an infantry mindset. I think we all can have an infantry mindset. Let me edit that. It's important to understand that it's there. You don't have to be in the military to get it. I love our country. Man, I love our country. Your daily dose of the babbler. Guys, that's my new nickname, the babbler. Because I get in these random thoughts. I was thinking the other day, this is so interesting for me just to be able to, typically, mind you, if I wasn't talking into this camera, all these thoughts would just be jumbled in my head. I share them with my friends. We talk all the time. But I was thinking the other day, where could I go with this in the future? Do I want to do live streams where you just hear the babbler for hours on hours, just going into my rabbit holes of all these memories? I was talking about the other episode, having like a pill that could go back and I could take and just bring back all the thoughts in my head, all the experiences I've had that I've kind of put in the corner because they're not relevant in everyday life. Man, I think a live stream would just allow me to just unpack those thoughts. So many things I could tell you guys about. Man, I've seen so much. I've experienced so much. Good, bad, ugly, great. Resilience. That's what I learned. Infantry teaches you resilience. Man, it'll grow you up fast. Grow you up fast. Does that even make sense? Yeah, you'll become a man. Not saying that everyone should do it. I'm just saying I love it. It's changed me. Definitely probably would have been the same knucklehead in my early life if I hadn't gone into infantry. Infantry teaches you a lot of structure, what's important, at least what's important to us, right? Brought me closer to God. Family's so important. God's so important. Relationships, friends, things that we take for granted. All right, what was I saying? Man, I'm the babbler. What are we gonna talk about today? Man, so I'm looking at all this news, all the things that's going on. And I had this thought, and I was like, man, this is something I need to talk about on my daily show now, on the new episode of the Infantry Mindset. Have the odds changed? We got Vice President Harris that's now running. Looks like she's full steam ahead. I'm hearing reports, $80 million in one day, just a ton of endorsements. And I came across a couple of videos that really made me think about this. Short videos, but I wanted to share and just give you guys my thoughts, but also get an understanding of where we think this is going to go, because I think this is stage one of a very methodical tactical plan that is going to be made to break down Trump, And everyone that was like, you know what, man, I'm not so sure about Trump, but man, I just can't. Our president now, I can't see him back. So I guess I got to do the right thing and just go ahead and vote for Trump just this one more time. I think they're trying to pull those people over and say, you know what, our president's not here anymore. By the way, I'm not sure. I'm still not sure what's going on with that. I guess he's going to finish out the term. Our commander in chief, I don't want to disrespect him. But I'm thinking about now, they're trying, in my opinion, right? Just talking about this, it feels like they're trying to pull those folks that weren't really one way or the other, didn't really, maybe they don't have the traditional conservative values. Just pull them over. Say, hey, it's okay to come back. It's okay to. Meanwhile, we still don't know anything about the attempted assassination on former President Donald Trump. They're kind of washing that under the rug. I heard 60 days. We got 60 more days, or probably like 50 days left to figure out this report. I'm very confident this report's not going to bring up anything. There's no way in the world that the report's going to uncover anything that could have been malicious or perceived the wrong way before the election. It's just not going to happen. If we believe that's going to happen, then we just need to face reality. It's just not. So what happens from here? So what do we have to do? Keep our foot on the gas. Keep your foot on the gas. Don't stop. All these content creators coming out, exposing Vice President Harris on past policies, things I've heard. I'm not going to get into it right now, but not the best record. They're going to prop her up. They're going to prop our vice president up. I don't want to be disrespectful, but not the best record. I'm hearing now that she was never in control of the borders because that's not something that she's going to want to tackle. The borders are. It's not the borders are, apparently. Apparently, she had nothing to do with the border. Apparently, she has never been to the border. She had nothing to do with it. The people that are saying that she was in control of the border or that President Biden gave her the border as part of her initial task is wrong. That's what they're saying. So they want to get out of that subject. I even saw where they showed a clip of her talking points, and her talking points were to go against being the border czar. I thought that was interesting. So they're already thinking about that being a hole in her armor, a chink in her armor. I think she's got a lot of chinks. I don't know if she's got an armor. Definitely not an IOTV. But what do we think this is going to do? The news is definitely going to be on her side. We're definitely going to hear more great things. And I think this opens up more of a conversation because we need to be aware of it. I feel like, by the way, I'm not telling anyone how to vote. I'm not telling anyone what they should or shouldn't do. I'm just simply saying that if you love our country, you have to see that right now we need to make a change. Is she going to be the right change? That's for you to decide. One of the reasons why I love this country so much, why I signed to go fight for this country, is because of the freedoms we have. And I feel like everyone should choose based on their personal beliefs, based on what they want. I think it's a great thing we have. What I do feel like is a lot of us that have traditional conservative values have been kind of stifled. They've kind of put us in this hole called Fox. We don't get out as much. We don't talk as much. We try not to bother other people. We don't want to say our opinions in front of everyone because, we just don't want to. We don't want to be labeled a certain way. So I think that has to stop. I think we have to get out. We have to talk. We have to be who we are. Lead with love. It always works. Healthy conversation is what we need. But I want us to look at this video this morning, and then I want to have a conversation about where we think this is going. It's a very short video. It's for Vice President Harris. And she is being endorsed by our loving, power couple, Barack and Michelle Obama. So let's take a listen.
Kamala.
Hello. Hi.
Hey there.
Oh, hi. You're both together. Oh, it's good to hear you both.
I can't have this phone call without saying to my girl Kamala, I am proud of you. This is going to be historic.
We called to say Michelle and I couldn't be prouder to endorse you and to do everything we can to get you through this election and into the Oval Office.
Oh, my goodness. Michelle, Barack, this means so much to me. I'm looking forward to doing this with the two of you, Doug and I both, and getting out there, being on the road. But most of all, I just want to tell you the words you have spoken and the friendship that you have given over all these years mean more than I can express. So thank you both. It means so much. And we're going to have some fun with this too, aren't we?
Okay. So we see that. We know that they're pushing us to feel a certain way. Now it's emotional. The Obamas, they're endorsing our vice president. It's got to be good. And then I see this.
Just moments ago, Vice President Kamala Harris picked up the formal endorsement of former President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama as well. Here is the brand new video. So this is not unexpected, but could be a bit awkward for Donald Trump this morning. Overnight, his campaign said it would not commit to debating Harris, in part because she had not been endorsed by Obama. Well, now she has. With us now, CNN's senior White House correspondent, Kayla Tausche. Kayla, again, not unexpected, but
How do you all feel? So I guess what we're doing now, the spin is, all right, President Biden, he messed up. He messed up in the debate, but now let's go for Harris. Oh, don't be scared of Harris. Are they trying to bait former President Trump into having a debate with Harris because they feel like, I don't know. You guys tell me. It just seems, I don't know. Let's take a listen.
But kind of shows this tight rollout that Harris has had over the last, now, this is what, the sixth day.
Yes, John, highly choreographed, even though all of this came together in the 11th hour over just the last week. This was a critical piece for Vice President Harris to get the endorsement from a party leader who still has influential sway across the entirety of the Democratic Party. It shouldn't be understated the fact that this came on several days after her candidacy became official, but also after the official process to clinch those delegates came through. Sources have said that the Obamas didn't want to be seen as anointing Vice President Harris or seen as part of a coronation, in the words of one, choosing instead to wait until after some of those processes have played out. But certainly it is going to provide quite a bit more momentum for a campaign that has already seen quite a bit of that. $126 million raised as of Tuesday. The campaign has not provided an updated number, even though several days have followed that. And even though several major organizing calls have taken place, including one last night with white women, where 164,000 women participated in that. And Harris is going to be trying to use that momentum across the battlegrounds in the coming days. The campaign saying that just today it will be holding events in Michigan, North Carolina, Georgia, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, following on dozens of events taking place across other battleground states leading up to this point. Of course, course, the calendar is very crunched at this point. There are a lot of deadlines coming up in August alone. We have learned from sources that Vice President Harris and her team are expected to lock in a running mate by August 7th. That would be a process that would be just about 2 weeks from start to finish. August 1st is the earliest date that the Rules Committee has decided that early voting could begin. And then, of course, there is the convention, the 19th through the 22nd.
So August 1st, technically people can early vote. And right now we believe that Vice President Harris will have her running mate for vice president by the 7th. Man, so people could vote not even knowing who the next up is. If something were to happen to her, who's going to fall in line, who's going to take over as president. This is happening. This is happening so fast. Wow.
Less than a month away at this point. So certainly there is a lot to do in just the next few weeks, guys.
Yeah, not a lot of real estate left on that calendar. Kayla Tausche, great to have you on in the mornings. Thanks so much for being with us. Appreciate it. With us now, CNN political commentator Kristen Soltis Anderson and Democratic strategist Matt Bennett. Matt, the facts of this endorsement aside, this sort of caps this week, this remarkable now 6 days of a pretty tight rollout. How do you see it having played out?
I mean, there's no way it could have gone better. It was very clear that the vice president's team was ready. They didn't know if the president would step aside. They had no idea, and they didn't know when it would come. But the moment that it came, they just sprang into action, and they rolled it out in unbelievably perfect way. They made all the calls they needed to make. They rounded up the endorsements they needed. They kind of closed off the field to others. And then they put her out on the road and captured this incredible wave of momentum that followed this, sigh of relief that the party was giving, that we now have a nominee that seems really capable of prosecuting the case against Trump. And I think what you're finding is that the Trump team is definitely not ready. I mean, they have these ridiculous lawsuits. They're now saying they're not going to debate her. They're on their heels and defensive about J.D. Vance.
Do we believe that Trump isn't ready? Do we believe that Trump didn't foresee that President Biden probably was going to be pushed aside? I don't know if that's true. I don't know if, I think it would be pretty hard to not at least factor in this could have been an end result. So I don't know if I agree with this, but again, you listen, you don't have to agree. Right now, we're just trying to see where the narrative's going. The important thing is soaking in this information is to see what everyone's saying, right? You have to know your opposition in order for you to make the right tactical decisions. That's what we're doing right now. I'm not saying CNN is our opposition, but read between the lines.
It's in Project 2025, so things have gone really well so far.
We're going to get to the debate thing in just a moment, but Kristen, first to you, with the Obamas, is there anything unique politically about their endorsement? I don't think this was unexpected, but does this endorsement carry something special that others have not?
Well, I think, one, it was smart to actually delay it a few days. There was a little bit of online chatter. Why hasn't Obama endorsed? Why hasn't Obama endorsed? It's smart because it takes the story and it makes yet another day. It gets to stand on its own as a story. However, I do think that if Democrats think that they are going to recreate the Obama coalition this year, that is a bit of a big dream, but seems unlikely to me. Remember, Barack Obama won in part by being able to pull together this incredible coalition that included states like Iowa. Iowa voted for Barack Obama twice. And I'm not encouraging anyone to go bet a bunch of money, but I wouldn't go to Vegas right now and put a bunch of money on Kamala Harris winning Iowa in 2024. So, for some of these politicians like Barack Obama, who's very talented, the question is, how much does his coalition, can it be rebuilt in new, much more polarized times? And count me a little bit skeptical of that.
So Matt,
all right, and now I want us to take a look at this.
Democrats who, within the last few years, have left their old party and are now voting for Trump. Latina Brown and Madeline Brame. Madeline, good to see you. We'll start with you. She's been vice president for almost 4 years.
Yeah.
Obama was president for 8 years as a black man. So is playing the race card here really a smart strategy?
You know, thank you so much, Laura, for having me once again on your show. It is absolutely the most silliest thing that they could possibly do, because most African Americans know that the illegals' benefit card is worth more than our worthless black card. So why would we care about who Kamala Harris is, about her race or her gender? We care about the policies that she has pushed with Joe Biden for the past 3.5 years. We are struggling. We can't even make ends meet. You talked about retirement earlier. I have to work till I'm 70 years old in order to get my full retirement. So, you know, no, Black America is not supporting Kamala Harris. All right. Her color has nothing to do with the failed policies that she has championed and stood on for 3.5 years.
Now, people have called Kamala the DEI candidate, but Democrats, they don't like that.
Whenever you hear DEI, I want you to think about the N-word. I want you to think about racial slurs. That's what they actually mean.
Latina, when you hear DEI, think of the N-word? That's where they are? That's it?
Well, you know, Laura, thank you for having me on. I just want to say this. The Democrats are full of crap. And I think that they know that the American people can see through the crap that they're pushing and circulating out there to the black community. If anything, the Democrats, they're the ones who are sowing division in the community, in this country. They're not about uniting everyone together. They're about themselves. They're about power. They're about division. They have their own agenda in place. And this thing has been in the works for years. It's just that now it's coming to light and people are starting to wake up. They're opening up their eyes. And I'm going to tell you something. The black community, we will not support her. Nope. You know, they can try to race bait us. Nope. They can try to push the gender agenda in our community.
And speaking of that, Latina, speaking of that, I got a place because they're starting this pressure campaign for any black person or minority who is not considering voting for Kamala.
You're going to look real crazy being on the other side of that line, particularly as a person of color, but really as anyone who claims to have any connection to the culture. You're going to look real weird and real lonely on that side.
All right, one line from each of you. Madeline, you're going to look really weird, Madeline, if you don't support her.
You know, I'm not paying her no mind. You know, I'm not supporting Kamala Harris because I don't believe in the continued genocide of black babies in the womb through abortion, where she's pushing tooth and nail, even to the 3rd trimester. You know, I don't believe in that, and I don't support that, and I don't believe that most of the, especially black women in the black community, support that.
Latina, you're weird if you don't support Kamala Harris. You're weird.
Well, you know, I think, you know, that's a weird statement coming from, you know, Miss Reed. I don't think she's all there mentally. God help us all.
No, let's be nice.
No disrespect.
She's very nice. She's very nice to me in the elevator. We sometimes ride the elevator together, and she's actually a very. I said we should do something for charity, like go on the road and do some show for charity, and she said she would. So, I mean, I'm going to hold her to that. But I don't know. It just seems like a weak argument. I mean, if Kamala Harris is a smart woman who has a record to run on, then run on the record.
Yes.
Just run on it.
I agree.
To me.
But what record does she have?
Well, that's a good point. Latina, Madeline, great to see both of you. Thanks so much.
Hey, who is this for? Guys, who is this for? That's all. I always ask that. Even when I heard President Biden talk to Vice President Harris while she was addressing the campaign, who is this for? Is it for us? So we know that officially Obama and Michelle have endorsed Vice President Harris. What does this mean? it gets so dangerous when we try to manipulate people because of race, gender, things like that. And I feel like the Obamas are so loved by so many people. Was this a way to kind of let us know, hey, she's okay? We should go for her. They endorse her. Why is that a big deal? Man, it's a big deal because, you know, if I go up to you and you trust me, if you trust me, right? And I say, hey, I've got one of my best friends. He does this and this and that. He can take care of you. And you trust me. You're not going to think twice. Okay, bring him over. Let me talk to him. All right, I trust him. Whatever you tell me is good. I know you, so if I know you and you're saying he's good, he's good. It's so dangerous, guys. So dangerous. I feel like a lot of people are going to fall in this trap. We're not going to listen to policies. It's not going to be about how we're going to make America great again. It's going to be more about these people said I'm good, so I'm good. What do we do? What do we do? I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to get an idea, suggestions. I think it starts by being more vocal. When I started this YouTube channel, I didn't know it was going to be like on politics. I'll be honest with you. I thought of so many things I could talk about, and I still might do it. You know, as an infantry officer, I mean, I've been through so much, enlisted to officer. Like, I was even thinking about maybe I'll talk about UFOs, talk about the Air Force, Chair Force. No disrespect. I love our Air Force. We joke on them. They joke on us. They're smart. We're stupid. That's like the running joke. Marines like crayons. Like, we all have internal jokes. We have thick skin. Doesn't bother us. But I was thinking about, man, maybe I could give my insight on, you know, things that happen. Why the Air Force always leaks information. Guys, you will know this. Whenever you hear there's a leak, a skiff, 20-year-olds got information out of a skiff, and now private contractors have all this info, and you're like, man, how does this stuff get out? It's always the Air Force. It's so silly to me. They give them so much. You know, guys, I've never had a top secret clearance. In the infantry world, it's not necessary. In the Air Force, they give them out like crayons. Maybe like candy. There we go. You know, you can be a battalion commander, brigade commander. You still might not have top secret clearance. But these kids over in the Air Force, they just, man, it's like no big deal. And then they wonder, their brains aren't all the way together, and they get a little bit of money here or there, or they sell their integrity. Now all of a sudden it gets out. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying the American people don't need to know all the information. But what I'm saying is, I don't know what I'm saying. I was going to do videos on that, like all these type of things, right? And for some reason, my heart kind of brought me towards this particular subject, because I think it's so important that we make the right decision this year. I think it's so important that we get the country back on track. And I love this country so much. And I'm thinking about my kids and my family and where we need to be, and we're not there. Technology is kind of fooling us that we're in a better situation than we are. We're not. Guys, don't let it fool you. The fact that we can pick up our iPads and do fancy things, don't let that make you think the country's in a better spot. I hear that all the time. Yeah, make America great again. That means we don't want to go back to back in the days, and it's great now. It's not. It is great. I love our country, but it's not. Read between the lines. There are a lot of things that hide our inefficiencies right now. And ultimately, if we don't fix them, if we don't solve them, the country we love is going to be a lot different. Does this make a difference for you all that the Obamas have fully endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris? Is the talking point now that she's going to be our first black female president? So everyone that is black, everyone that's a female, you should just vote because she's good. The Obama said she's good. They say she's good. She's good. It's so dangerous. I still haven't heard about policies. Still trying to figure out how we're going to change the trajectory of where we're going as a country from 4 years ago to now for the next 4 years. The problem is we know what Trump's going to do. He already told us. He's going to bring in more companies, bring them back to America. Hard tariffs if these companies don't build in America. Drill, baby, drill. Tax breaks. He's going to do all the things that we have seen work in the past. And then I feel like we have the other side that is saying, it's the past. We don't want to go back to the past. The past had slavery. The past had less freedoms. It's an old mentality. We need to think the future. The future is this. The future is that. Okay, well, how do we get there? I'm an infantry guy. How do we get there? You can paint a beautiful picture, but how do we get there? Oh, we're just going to tax the rich. The rich will pay more, and then we'll be out of debt, and then everything will be great. I'm not smart enough to know how all the ins and outs work. That just doesn't seem like it's going to work. You got to put yourself in those shoes. If I'm wealthy or I'm rich, big corporation, and you just tell me, hey, you're just going to pay more. You're going to pay more. You're going to get us out of debt. All this government funding, all this spending, you're just going to pay for it. You're going to pay your fair share or else. I'm going to be like, dude, or else. I got Europe. I got Asia. I got all different places I can take my business to and still make money. I'm not doing that. That's just how I think about it. Am I wrong? Guys, tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm looking at this all wrong. I don't see this whole agenda by making the wealthy pay more is working out. That's not an infantry mindset. Get back to the basics. What made us great? How do we do that? How do we repeat that cycle that brought us to the nation that we are now? We got to get back to the basics. Manufacturing, God, family, less spending, less getting in everyone else's business. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just too old not to understand. I think you just need to do your own due diligence. Great points that were being made. I don't want to hear about if you're black, if you're Asian, if you're Hispanic. You should be voting for a specific party. I want to hear about people voting because they like the policies that are being put in front of them. And, you know, the big thing that I see now, and just looking at this, and I'm going to try to put all these thoughts together because they're just all jumbled in my head, is that I see the push being from President Biden, which at this point, I believe everyone knew that it was a lost cause for him to get the reelection, to now Kamala Harris, our vice president, coming in, saving the day for black people, for women. Obama's endorser. She's got to be good. And then we get distracted. And these freedoms that we have that are so important, the right to vote, the right to pick who we want to lead our country, we take them for granted, and we end up voting for a trend, not voting because we feel like a difference is going to be made. I think it's worth having a bigger conversation. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your views, and opinions. I hope you found some value out of this episode. Man, I would like this conversation to go on and on and on, for us to really kind of deep dive into this. And healthy conversation, I think, is the only thing that helps us get out of this, so where more of us look at this and say, you know what, I'm not going to allow you to do that anymore. I'm not going to allow you to use the race card to make me feel like I should be doing a certain thing or voting a certain way. I'm going to speak up. I'm going to speak out. That's how you bring everyone together. I feel like the Democratic Party is being a lot more divisive. Just my personal beliefs. They're making it about things that it shouldn't be about. If you got any value out of this video, please like, share, subscribe. Again, just an infantryman trying to make a way in the civilian life. I'm not going anywhere. Daily YouTubes, daily videos. I'm going to put them out at 12 o'clock. Still trying to figure out if Sunday is going to be a thing. If I'm going to post a video on Sunday, or if I'm going to, if I do, it's going to be early in the morning, maybe like 4 a.m. while the kids are still asleep. I don't want to take up my precious time with them to get on the internet, be a distraction, but I would love to hear more from you all. Thank you again for listening to me. Until next episode, God bless. Infantry Mindset, where we don't make excuses, we just do it. Have a good day, y'all.